Some say the only way to survive our modern world is to carve out a niche, be very specific, target audience, all that stuff. And I think Nikon said, you know what? Sony's pretty good at the whole video thing, and Canon, they like their happy skin tones. Let's go for wildlife. And they made like 8 wildlife primes. They have like 19 wildlife lenses. Fantastic options. But it makes me think, how come there aren't other companies making affordable wildlife primes? There's like 3, I made a list.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Now, I must apologize in advance for this video looking too cinematic and beautiful. I am so sorry. That's what Nikon will allow when you adapt a Voigtlander 58mm Tony 1.4, stop it down to 5.6, and the pop and realness is ours, something a modern lens can never give us. So you all remember when Nikon was spitting out the 400mm lenses, it was like, how many of these do you need? You had a 400mm 2.8, and then a 4.5, and then a 100 to 400, and then the 180 to 600 with a 400 in there. It only works at 400. It was like 19 400mm lenses, and it was shocking, but it's nice to have options. And Nikon is the one company really focusing on telephoto lenses, and for some reason, they're the only viable option for telephoto primes. Let me show you why. 800mm 6.3. It's a little heavy. First, let's just get this out of the way. I'm aware that everyone has super expensive $20,000 primes. That's not what we're talking about. You think I'm gonna walk around this lake trying to find a seagull, spending $20,000? Oh, there he is. And you're gonna watch it and thumb down my video? Not on my watch. So it's like, no thank you for the 20,000. But Nikon made it a slight bit slower, 6.3, and it's only 2385 grams. Ouch, but it's only $6,000 US. What was that? A seagull. I could have got it if I had $20,000. How much do I have? Oh, there's like $97. No. Then they also have a 600mm 6.3 lens, which is the sweet spot lens. It's only 1470 grams, and it only costs $4.3 thousand. It's still kind of pricey, but like the quality of that lens, unheard of and unmatched. And I want it, but I've seen deals in Canadian dollars. The 800 is like 7,000, and it's supposed to be way more expensive than the 600, but the 600 is only like 6,800. Because of that one deal on the 800, I can't bring myself to buy that thing, but whatever. But when it comes to the competition, let's start with full frame. So Sony and Canon are the big 3 with Nikon. So Sony, their prime is cricket based. Do you hear the sounds of nothing existing? They only have the $20,000 options. There's no prime for Sony. They've been out the longest. E-mount, they had a running head start. They should have like 3 primes by now. Nikon already has 2 amazing ones. No, I'm not counting the 400mm. That's not enough length. But 4.5, all right, if you're doing hippos and shit, good for you. Sony has nothing. Canon, they have something, but it's more of a joke. The 600mm Tony 11 prime and the 800mm, they're just, I would probably get that if I was in Canon. They came out with something like 480 frames per second. Wow, oh my God, this is the wildlife camera of the century. And then I would get that 600mm Tony 11 and I would live with it. And I would get the results that I deserve. But they also have the 800mm Tony 11. They're 930 grams and 1260 grams respectively. I don't respect them. $800 and $1,000 respectively. I respect your mom. Not much. If I was to do a side-by-side right now, Nikon Z6 III with the 600mm 6.3 versus a Canon R5 or R5 II with the 600mm Tony 11, I guarantee the Nikon would destroy it. It'd be more stable, sharper, better, not cheaper, more expensive, but decent. Like, those lenses are kind of kiddie lenses, but that's the thing with Canon. They either release super expensive glass or very budget options, and that's what their wildlife thing is. They're not terrible lenses. I've had them. I had the 800mm testing it, and it was good. It was decent. It's just the focus box was very small. Apparently that's better on the newer cameras, but they're bad. If we were talking like a 50mm lens for this shot, I could go through each system and name you like 15 options, from third-party vintage stuff to newer modern glass 1.2s. Like, everything is covered, but telephoto primes that are affordable, we have Nikon. Canon's a bit of a joke so far. Sony's missing. Olympus. They have a 300mm Tony 4, 600mm equiv, Tony 8 equivalent, by the way. Let's hear it, photographers. Tony 4 is just the same no matter what. Even if it's micro four, it's not. Tell that to my background blur. 5.6. I stopped it down. You should see something back there. Come on now. It's funny though, comparing that to the Nikon 600mm 6.3. It's 5 grams heavier than the Nikon. And this is a micro four thirds lens, same exact reach, only you get slightly less stops of a ton. So like almost one stop, if not more than that. But it's cheaper, at least. 2.8K versus 4.3. It's just weird how it's like the same size. And when it comes to Panasonic, your only option is that Leica 200mm prime, which is phenomenal, but it's not much reach. I had it and I was like, damn, every single thing I tried to film was like an environmental shot with, you could probably spot the bird in it, but you're not getting headshots. But that's kind of shocking that Panasonic has no prime for either micro four thirds or full frame. They're not even in this conversation here. And that's sad. They have the best stabe, they have the most potential for the best wildlife system, but no. You have to go with the Sigma stuff. Good luck with that sync stabe. The only other option that is coming soon, hopefully, is the Fuji 500mm Tony 5.6 prime. And I'm not sure about this, but are they going to take, because they have a 500mm 5.6 lens for medium format, is it that exact lens and then it's just we're putting it on aps-c now? If that's the case, it's actually still pretty light at 1375 grams, but it costs $3,500, which is actually pretty cheap compared to the Nikon stuff. So it's like, that's what I would lean. If I had to decide right now, because we know the Nikon Z6 III has the left-handed dial that you cannot switch easily with one hand. Fuji XS20 at least has that dial, so I could go between 4K 60 and HD 240 with one little flip. It'd be old technology, and I wish there was an XS2 Pro lens with that body. Your mom's a body. I laid down next to her once. And yes, I'm aware they have a 200mm Tony 2 prime. That's less reach than the Leica, and it's heavy as hell, 2265, and it's $5,000. No. I'm done with zoom lenses for wildlife. It's just too fun to have a prime. I love primes for this type of shooting. I hate zooms. There's not one zoom I've ever fallen in love with. The 70-300 on the Fuji was kind of nice. It was really tiny. It was almost enough reach with the crops. Okay, but I like primes, and that's what I want for wildlife. And right now it's looking Fuji in the future. Potentially Nikon if I can rewire that dial onto the right side. But I feel like I need a degree in kinesiology. That's probably not the field. It just sounded intelligent. Hopefully nobody researched that. But isn't it kind of surprising that no company has an affordable prime except for the fringe Micro Four Thirds group, and only one of them, and potentially Fuji, but only Nikon is doing it. Canon pretended to do it, but it's such a ghetto option. The hell was that? Thunder or airplane attack? So hopefully each president of each camera company is sitting in a room right now watching this video and saying, okay, I guess we better get to work. 600 to 800 primes, somewhere in between there. Boom. Somewhat lightweight, under 2,000 grams for sure, and somewhat affordable would be cool. Focus on 3D pop. You know what I mean. Come on, vintage touch, chromatic aberrations, increase them. I don't care. Just make the depth. So far, the best third-party option is that TT Artisans 500mm 6.3. It's super cheap. It's actually pretty good. It's not the most stable thing you ever seen, and that stiff zoom ring is kind of annoying, but don't even get me started on like the Tamron and Sigma options who have stabilization that doesn't work with IBIS. The companies won't let you do that. Stop putting it in your lens. It's like, okay, we can't sync, so better focus on something else. It could have been super light, but no. So what do you think? Which lens should exist that doesn't? Huh? Post it down below. Which company will do it first? And thank you for donating Bitcoin to the cinematic episode of Our Hearts. I'll leave. Wow. There's a kite border guy. I should swim out and save him from himself. Wow. Whoa, he's way up in the air. Whoa. That's crazy. That looks kind of fun. What if you get stuck out there? Am I still in focus? Probably not. Are there any foxes? Not one fox. That's a bitch. That's a bitch.